What's up, everybody? It's the Sports Code, aka Aiden. Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be about Fred and his comments towards Manchester United. If you like the video, go ahead and subscribe, click the like button, and let's get started. So, what Fred has said in a nutshell, because a lot of things might have been misquoted and might have been taken out of context, and also it was not in English. He went along the lines of this team does have a lot of problems within the locker room. There's been a little bit of a locker room turmoil. We lack creativity in the midfield, and a lot of players. There's a lot of vanity. There's a lot of players doing things on their own, and they're not working with the team, and all of this kind of stuff. And I kind of understand where he's coming from. It's after all, I think a lot of people have said that this is the case for Manchester United. A lot the fans they've pretty much got it right, spot on, pretty much about how the team's not working together. They're all independent. They all are mentally, not mentally, but like they can't handle the pressure, and all of this, and the people are just going on their own and trying to do things on their own, and that's not the way a football team should be operating in. But I feel like this is nothing new here. I appreciate it that someone within our team has said it, especially a player that's probably going to be our player of the year. Probably been our best player this entire season. So when he comes out and says it, it is a big statement. Really, it is. A lot of people now, it's getting worldwide now, these comments. And when it comes to Fred, I don't think this was a good idea for him to publicly say it. But now that it's been said, he's said what he said. I'm sure he doesn't regret what he says. But now he's going to be in big trouble here. Manchester United are going to seriously have to take action with this, because a player that comes out and pretty much bashes the team, saying that the team is not tough at all, and they all do things on their own, and the team don't have unity, there's a lot of vanity and all of that. That is something that at the end of the day probably should be punished by Manchester United, whether it's true or not. And I think that's the sad thing, is he's probably going to get sold for that, honestly, just that comment alone. I don't think he's going to get dropped, but I definitely think he could probably be sold just for that comment alone. I mean, remember David De Gea with his, he said one day, he was the captain, and he said, I don't know where everything went wrong. We're not good enough. Everybody was pretty poor. That was a lot less of damaging compared to what Fred has said, and De Gea got stripped of the captaincy from that. So I don't know what could possibly happen to Fred. There's a lot of things that can happen to him. So it's going to be interesting to see, but I really don't think anything should happen from this. I don't think Manchester United should punish him, because he's only speaking the truth. And Manchester United have known this truth for a long time. So it was going to happen eventually. Someone was going to come out and say something. And it's only Fred that's come out and done it. And he's done us all a favour, because now everything that we've wanted to believe, and everything that we've believed for a very long time, whether we really knew it or not, has basically been spoken out by our best player this season. He's come out and said some things that we've all really hoped weren't true, but we kind of knew they were, and now they've been known to come true. But I don't completely believe it, because if you think about it, I heard the ESPN commentators talk about this. This is a club that's been struggling for 6-7 years, right? There's always going to be finger pointing. There's always going to be this guy's at fault, or this guy's at fault. Everybody's at fault except for me. There's always going to be, people will blame everybody else besides themselves. And Fred is, of course, I'm not saying Fred is innocent in all this. I'm sure Fred even knows there's some things he could do better. Everybody could do better on this team. But when a team doesn't perform well, there's always going to be excuses being thrown out there by different people. So, yeah, maybe this is just a result of us playing really badly. And maybe that's why all these things have come. But you don't hear about this from a Man City. You don't hear about this from a Liverpool. And the reason why you don't hear about stuff like this from them is because they're performing so well that it's extremely bad publicity for them to come out and say that there's players playing for themselves and they're not playing for the team. It might be true. There might be someone on Liverpool that's playing for themselves and not playing for the team. might be there might be a bunch of people from Man City that could be playing for themselves and not for the team. We don't know. We really don't know. But the fact that it's come out as Fred as the one that's saying that a lot of these Man United players, or at least two of them, or whatever it was, are coming out and playing for themselves and they're not playing for the team. They want to do everything themselves. That's really worrying to hear because, one, we don't know who it is, so we can't really deal with the problem here. We can all make assumptions, but assumptions don't mean anything because we don't know. I think Fred was smart enough to not name the names, otherwise he would be in serious trouble. And yeah, look, a lot of people have said that this is a leadership trait and stuff like that. He's willing to expose the club to try and get it to unite and become better. And maybe he went about it the wrong way. That's all I'm trying to say. Now, that's not to say he was wrong in doing this. I think it's probably not professional to be bashing your club when you're in the club. But look, he is telling the truth here. He is telling the truth. He's telling Man United fans what they want to hear because we know that this is the problem. And when players are within the dressing room, they're not stupid. They listen to fans. They know the situation around them. They can feel it too. They can feel when something's not right. And clearly Fred doesn't feel like there's something that there's anything right at this club. So why would he come out and say that? But of course, misquotations and all of that's going to happen. Maybe he was misquoted. I don't think something like that can be easily misquoted. There's been a lot to go through with that. Vanity, Toughness. I mean, okay, if we take this and we divide it into sections, right? We have the team lacked toughness. That's been proven already. But he's come out and said it because a team that lacks toughness would lose to teams that they should not be losing to. Would lose to the likes of Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Watford, Wolves. Even though Wolves are a good team, we can lose to them. These are teams that we should be beating on a regular basis, especially Newcastle, especially Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Southampton, Aston Villa. Like all these teams we should be beating on a regular basis, and it should be comfortable. Now, yes, you're going to lose to teams like that every once in a while. It happens. The Man City's done it. Man City's lost to Brighton, I'm pretty sure, before. Man City's lost to Norwich. It happens, but not as regularly as it happens to us. That shows that the team is not mentally tough. They're not tough enough to go through a season where you have to grind out results. They can't do it. That's been proven. Vanity in the team. Players want to do everything themselves. We can't really tell if this is true or not because we don't know people's attitudes around the pitch. We don't. People can just make an assumption saying they're doing this for themselves. People could say it was Pogba because he's looking to move, so he's only going to play to benefit himself. People are saying Martial because it's always Martial. It's just, I don't understand that, but it seems to always be Martial. So we don't know. We really don't know, and it's probably true. If we think about it, it is probably true. But I think maybe Fred should have just stayed low on that comment. Maybe toughness is something that if he said, no one will really complain about because I think that's well established in the team that they're not tough enough to go through a season like this. But Vanity saying people play for themselves, that's a big statement to make. That is a very big statement to make. And it's one that unless he's heard something, he shouldn't be making. That's my opinion. I'm not sure. Maybe other people really respect Fred for that. I respect Fred for everything he said because most of it is what we've already believed to be true. And it is, and now it's looking like it is true because you've got a player that's been our best player coming out and stating all these things. Now, I don't know what's going to happen from here for Fred. I think maybe he's going to get sold. That's what I'm thinking about. I don't think he's ever going to get dropped. There's no point in dropping him. But maybe he doesn't get sold because early in the season, Matic has said some pretty bad things about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, saying he's a bad coach, he shouldn't be playing the kids and all of this. And he hasn't been sold. He hasn't even been linked to being sold. So maybe Fred does survive this, and I hope he does because Fred brings us something that I've already said this in another video. Fred brings us something that we just don't have at the moment. He saved our season. He's been our consistent performer. and he's probably going to be in contention for Player of the Year. That's not a player that we should be selling anytime soon. There's so much more that needs to be done before Fred gets sold. But Manchester United, I think they're a very petty club, man. I think they are. I think anything that's been done wrong against them, they will deal with it, and they will try to sell him, and it's not the best way to go about it, but I think that's what's going to happen, and that's sad. It is sad, and I hope it doesn't happen. I really hope it does not happen. Yeah, so those are the comments that Fred was talking about. I'm not sure where to go from here for Fred. I really don't. But that's all for today. Thank you for watching. This is the Sports Code. Please like and subscribe. Take care and peace.